Welcome to the New Earth Radio, a frequency your soul has been waiting for. Tune in, rise up, and remember who you are. What's up? Hello. Oh. Hello. Welcome to another journey. Today we're gonna go very much hocus pocus. We're gonna go deep into it because I think it's such an important part to talk about, because I know a lot of people who are listening now. I don't know, maybe there are 5 people listening, maybe nobody. But if you're listening, I am 90% sure that you've been through it. And when you go through this, it feels so awful and sometimes so lonely. And sometimes you think there's something wrong with you. So I want to explain why it's not. Why awakening always feels like dying. Because there is a part of you really dying. So let's talk about it. In the last 5 years, I've had a lot of ego deaths. I have had a lot of awakenings. And this last year, it went on such a speed that sometimes I didn't know if I would survive. It really felt like this time I went too far. This time I can't no more. But how does an awakening work? I'm gonna explain it very short today because I want to focus on the part of the death that feels like that. But the part of all the parts of awakening, if you want to talk about it, let me know. I will share another podcast about it. When you start this journey, it's always like you have a question like, oh, is there more? Is there something more? You have a longing for something more. Maybe you want to show more of yourself. Maybe there's just something in you that wants more than you have now. And then you get in like a high. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the sun seems to shine brighter. The sky seems more beautiful. Everything is different. Everything is more beautiful. And it feels like, wow, I reached a level of happiness I didn't know I could reach. And soon after, sometimes it's a few weeks, sometimes it's a few months, sometimes it's a few days. For me now, in the beginning, it was like months, then it went to weeks, then it went to days. It's depending on the rapid speed you go with your awakenings. So, okay. And then after that period, it feels like you go in the deepest down ever. It's like, bam! From such a high to a life where everything feels now so dark. You doubt everything. Why does nothing feel good anymore? It feels like you went from the highest high. It's like a heartbreak. You're so in love and then he dumps you. That's how it feels. But the reason why is it's not that you really go to a low because you just come back to your normal life. It's like you first had to see what's possible. Now you go back to the life you were just living, but suddenly you know the difference where you could go, because most of us are just happy in their normal life because they think this is normal, this is my limit, this is where I can go. So they accept it and they're okay with it, they're happy with it, they're content with it. But when you reach something higher, suddenly the contrast is so big and it feels like, whoa, this life that I'm living, I don't like it. And there I felt like, oh, everything was love and light. And now my friends are so mean and they don't support me. Everything comes to light that doesn't fit you anymore, to go back to that higher version because you have such a clear vision of it now. You see the difference like night and day. And this is where you had to be, because from here on, you can do the work. So a lot of people come to the the part of the heartbreak, and they're like, I hate my life. Some stay in that for months, some way too long. You don't have to stay there for so long. It's because you lose yourself in it. You think, oh, life is not good. You lose yourself in it, but you don't do what you needed to do there. You need to go through the emotions and take the steps necessary that your body asking. Your body is just asking in this phase, listen to me. So it's also a phase that a lot of people go into hermit mode, take time alone because they just don't know what to do with all those emotions. They don't like anybody, everybody's too much, what's happening here? So a lot of people go to hermit mode because there they can think for themselves, okay, this doesn't fit me anymore, without the voices of others or of expectations. So you go to that phase, you I'm already explaining the phases now. I didn't want to. Okay. In recap. After that, you start letting go, everything you don't fit. You start getting doubts. So what are you doing? Who do you think you are? Okay, you go through that phase, you work on that, and then you come into the emptiness, you let go of everything, you're okay, you're getting into a peace mind, like, okay, I'm okay with this quiet version of myself. And you start rebuilding because now you are a new version of yourself. But now you have to rebuild that life that in the first place you felt. And now you start rebuilding, you're creating, okay, you're there, you are who you want to be. And you can start again and again and again and again, just like I did thousands of times. That's how it feels. But the part that's so important and that feels like that because you are killing a part of yourself is the part when you start noticing like, okay, these things don't fit me anymore, and you go in hermit mode. Why is this such a difficult part? Because everything that you thought you were, everything that you thought you liked, you don't like no more. But it's not only that you don't like those things, you start to questioning who you are in those situations. So maybe you were always like the friend that every maybe you were always the friend that helped everybody, but now you notice like, why are they always taking something of me? And there too, and there too, and there too. And then you start noticing, why am I always trying to help somebody, even if they don't ask me? Because that's who I think I am. I am the helper. So you start to accept that you are the problem. It's not that like you are at fault or whatever, but you started everything in your life is a product of your behavior, your actions, your version that you have created, that you maybe had to create when you were younger because you always had to help your parents. But now when you start a new friendship, you're always like, I will help, I will do this. And a lot of people are like, okay, yeah, help me then. And some people will be friends with you just because it's easy. You don't leave room to create a friendship that's not based on, I'm gonna help you. It doesn't mean that everybody you're attracting wants you only for that, but you will also attract people that want you only for that. It's like thinking, when somebody is very rich and he says like, yeah, people only want me for my money, I'm sick of it, I don't want people, but he's always showing off his money, he's always giving money, giving presents. So yes, he will also attract people who love him from him, but of course the people that want money and he's like, oh, he always gives money, he will attract that too. So you will start to understand in that part of hermit mode, you will have to like look at yourself and like, what do I have to let go of myself? The version of me that always helps, that doesn't mean you never can help anymore, but you will have to accept, it's not that I'm only gonna be loved if I help. I can also be loved without helping people. So I'm not now gonna stop always help people. And sometimes, of course, when there's need help and they ask, I'm gonna help, but I'm not gonna show it off constantly like that. But when you stop doing that, it feels so uncomfortable because it's your nature. It's who you always thought you were. So you have to grieve that part of yourself. And it's a lot of parts of yourself you have to let go. But those parts, it's like ingrained in your ego. Your ego needs an identity. It keeps you safe. It's like survival. This is who I am. And you have so many parts of your identity. Maybe you're a helper. Maybe you're the sexy one. Maybe you're a doctor. Maybe you're a mother. You have so many things that you hold as your identity. And every time you awaken, you have to let go some parts of your identity that keep you stuck in that old version. And those parts you have to let go to build new parts that now fit the new version, the new longing, the new vision that you have, the new ways that you want to live. So you have to literally kill some parts of yourself. And this is the part of the ego that it really feels, it's really a part of your ego that you're killing. So it really feels like you're dying. And at that moment, this year, it was crazy. This year was crazy. The first part of this year, I I've done this spiritual journey. I've done it for a couple of years. I first started with mindset and like subconscious mind. I wanted to know everything. How do we reprogram? I helped my clients with it, transforming. But in the meantime, I was also busy with my spiritual journey. Before 6 years ago, I didn't believe in a God because I always thought like, if there is a God, how could you give me this life? No God could be alive and giving me this life. I just couldn't believe it that I had to go through everything I had to go through, and while there was a God. Now, of course, after all those spiritual journeys I did, I understand like the only way I could be here talking to you, explaining you all those things is if I had the journey that I had. And maybe one time I'll also tell you everything and every part of the journey. I don't know if you're interested in it, let me know. But okay, so what was my point? Okay, I was in my spiritual journey, and I was growing and growing and also awakening again, let go of a part of myself, also my identity in my company, but because it was so mindset focused, not spiritual. But like my spiritual side was like, no, you have to add the spiritual side. You're not fully yourself, and you cannot help people be authentic if you're it's not showing everything in your business. So I started to put the spiritual side of me in my business, but it's not that easy. You have to kill the parts that think that's not okay, like awakening after awakening. And this year, in the start of this year, it went like crazy. My light language came up. I started to remember it, and it went like a volcano. And I got messages that I have to sing. I have to start helping people awaken with light language, and I was fighting for it. But I went to a rebirth after awakening, after ego death. And then suddenly, I think a few months ago, I don't know how it happened, but I first started to feel in people's emotions. Somebody was next to me and he was talking. I didn't know him, and he was talking and he was telling me like, "Oh, I like your dress, but I know you don't want to talk to me. I know who am I? I'm not worth it." And I was like, "What? What are you saying?" And I looked behind, and that boy was not talking. He was just waiting to order drinks. And suddenly I was hearing people and their feelings, and I was going crazy. I went home and I was like, I can't do it. It's too much. But that was my first, my growth to my new power. It's like I first had to understand the ego, the reprogramming, the subconscious mind. And now I could go in people, their subconscious mind, their fears, their anxiety. And then plus my my light language that was awakening. Now I could talk with their subconscious mind. And those three came together, so it took a lot of crazy moments. And the last time that I had like awakening, it was like, oh, I felt like I was dying. I felt like I didn't want to live anymore. That's how it really felt. I was like, I don't want to do this no more. You know, I talked about it the other time. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to live this life. I can't. I'm going crazy. I can't no more. And then I said, I'm allowing myself to die. I am allowing myself to die. And a part of me died. That moment, a part of me died, and I understood it is my ego that was wanting to die, and he needed to die, and I let go of it. And that's where my activations awakened. And the first person that I activated, I was talking to them, and I was like, can I try something? And I don't know, it just came out of myself, and they were telling me something, and I was like, I went into their subconscious. I started to talk with their deepest fears, why they're blocked, in light language, and I activated it. And after that, they started awakening, and it was so crazy, and I was like, oh, now I understand. And since then, I activated a lot of people, more than 10 people alone, these 2 weeks alone already. But I cannot do too much, because every time when I activate somebody, if there is a part in myself, I go into their subconscious, I activate myself too. So if there is a part that I activate in them, and that's just a little in me not activated, yes, I will activate that too. So the 10 activations I did, I went through it myself every time again. But yeah, I know that's my journey. I have to do it. But today I wanted to explain to you, like, you don't know what your journey is yet. And every time you feel like parts of you want to die, it's because they're ready to go. they're ready to go. And I hope it's clear today what it meant to have an ego that, I don't know, I was talking this and that, but that's also who I am. So I hope you like that I do it my way. You know, if you don't like it, of course, you would not be here, I guess, but that's okay. I just try to be like, share my journey. I'm also going through my journey while I keep learning and sharing knowledge. I'm also learning like the messages that I get, how to explain them to you, because also know there are so many theories, so many different ways to explain something. And this is my truth. This is what I get. And I try not to listen a lot to other people or listen to all the information that I have, but I know that my message will come to someone who needs to hear it and activate something in you if you needed to hear it. So also, if you want, always welcome to let me know. I'm active on Instagram. I will add it here, so you can always follow me, and on TikTok too. I'll share there more too, different things. But yeah, you're always welcome. Thank you for being here. Mwah. Did this transmission resonate with you? Then subscribe to the New Earth Radio. Every Sunday at 11, we air a new frequency. Stay in line, stay awakened. See you soon.